Hello, everyone. Welcome to Calling Out with Susan Pinsky. I'm Susan Pinsky, and today I am dipping my toes back into the waters of Laurel Canyon and Manson. I've done several podcasts on this over the years. I started in 2013 or 14, I can't remember. And we investigated the history of some amazing people, the mamas and the papas. Then it turned into another investigation into the mamas and the papas. And I then turned to the Manson murders and spoke with Sharon Tate's sister. All of these are in my archives of Calling Out with Susan Pinsky. And I didn't really think about this until I looked back in the history of my previous episodes. And what I didn't realize is that I have this weird affliction with talking about this era and this time. And a lot has gone on in the last 5 or 6 years or 10 years or however many years it's been since I did those original shows. And if you want to go back and hear some really good footage on the psychic readings that were done with the players in this game, you might find it really interesting. I found it really interesting to re-listen to. Also, I'm bringing back a person that I interviewed. I wanted to interview for the last Laurel Canyon episode that we did with Drea de Mateo, Miss Owen Elliot-Kugell. Hi, Elliot. Welcome to Calling Out with Susan Pinsky.
Hi. I love that you call me Elliot. A few people do that. It's kind of an odd.
Owen Elliot-Kugell. Sorry,
I'm telling you, you're not the only one that does it. That's why I reacted like that. I wanted to really tap into your spirits because, all this stuff sort of comes up. I saw this article written by George Webb, and it was about how, the Manson murder of Sharon Tate may not necessarily be what was in the news in those days. And then he writes this long Substack on all the connections to a lot of different people in that period of time. And why did everybody end up in Laurel Canyon? Where did these musicians come from? And how were they all sort of attached to Manson. And then you called me like out of the blue when I was in the middle of reading this article, and I had just sent it to Sharon Tate's sister, Deborah Tate, who didn't respond, by the way, because it's kind of a weird premise or supposition of what actually happened and why she was murdered. And you called and I said, oh, by the way, I had an orb in my foyer because Rebecca Fearing was over here doing a psychic reading for somebody, a friend. And the last episode we did with you was called Mama Cass's Orb. So I didn't know what her connection was or anything. I really didn't put two and two together. So, it is common knowledge that if Owen's book is My Mama Cass. She explains the life and times of Mama Cass and the exciting life that she had and her musicianship. But anyways, be that as may, I started doing a deep dive. This was 3 weeks ago. Okay, I was supposed to do the show a couple weeks ago, but we got invited to the White House, so we had to cancel it. And then I kept investigating it and taking a deep dive into what was out there in the media, and found this book called Weird Scenes Inside the Canyon. And I just then I went down the rabbit hole of the connection of your mother and Manson. So that's how you got pulled into this. And I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't know what's going to come out of it, but I want to see where the spirit can take us. I know that you are a frequent flyer with a psychic who I have here today. Her name is Melissa Kubias.
A frequent flyer.
She is she's driving somewhere between Staten Island and Brooklyn, and she was willing to come on because she's the one that did your reading, and I think it was like 2016 or something, right? I can't remember when it was, but she tapped right into your mom's spirit. And if anybody I'm not going to prove to everybody that Melissa's good at what she does, because she just is. But she was willing to come back and sort of tap into whatever this weird, crazy feeling I'm having to do the show today and bring you in for readings. And we also know, since, I'm not going to give any more information. Okay, so then the in-studio psychic that I have here too is Eddie Connor. And I'll give everybody where to find these people in a bit, because I want to just get to the meat of this. He is a clairvoyant. He was here for the last show, and he talked to Drea De Matteo, who lives in the house that belongs to Dennis. What's his last name again? Dennis.
It belonged to Denny Doherty of the Mamas and Papas.
Doherty.
Papa Denny.
Yeah. So we had a little conversation with your mother in the last episode here, the recent. And she apparently, she came through in bold colors like she usually does. And we connected with Denny. So when, I want you to put the camera on Eddie now, because Eddie is not only the birthday boy. Robin and Eddie are here in the house today, and they both had a birthday yesterday together. So that's why I have a cake sitting on the table. But anyways, happy birthday. Eddie came in the room and said, there's some guy named Denny here, right in my face. Of course, my dad's name is Denny, so I thought it was for me. And then then you realized that, yes, that was a player in the Mama. So anyways, I have to put my spirits aside. It has nothing to do with me. He's back, and he's here to connect with Melissa and Owen and me and Eddie. He's here. So he's already in the house, okay, which doesn't surprise me. And I also am really happy that they haven't blown anything up this week. The electronics are working, and I don't have any water pouring out of the ceilings this time. So they're good spirits. They're happy spirits.
That's good.
They're not here to cause me any trouble. And they know how much I love music. And I was part of the rock scene in the 80s, because I worked at radio and rock. And I think a lot of this is my interest in how the rock industry developed and where it came from. But there was so many tragedies in Laurel Canyon in those days. Everybody died young. A lot of them all died at the age of 27, which I find really weird. But my husband he's in the office right now with a bunch of old ladies, but he's going to show up at some point and sort of tap into the psychology behind the Laurel Canyon days. But anyways, without further ado, I want to get started with Melissa, because she knows you very well, and she can start the ball rolling and see what direction we need to go to, because there's so many players in Laurel Canyon that were in this crazy time. And I want to just see where she wants to go with this, as far as her intuition and how Mama Cass was connected to Manson, and what the real reason was behind the Tate murders from a spiritual standpoint.
Because that's not a loaded start or anything, Susan.
No.
So this whole thing started. Don't ask me why my mind works like this. I have no idea, but I just Drew and I are just like, wow, this is really good. So I'm going to let you start the ball.
Okay.
Rolling.
So I'm not going to lie, though, there's a lot of dynamics to this. Because I'm actually finding that the spider web visual is what I'm being given first. As I see Mama Cass in the center, almost being like, that's the energy I want to connect with. But there's like all of these kind of, if I can call them lines or points that spread out from that. And I'm guessing Laurel Canyon being the central point to this. It's so interesting, though, because the second that I connect with her, in the energy of the others, she's actually defining herself as an EL name for me. Like I almost want to say an Helen or an Ellen. It's almost like I want to disassociate from that trauma or from those days per se that we're specifically addressing today. So Owen, forgive me, but can you understand why she'd be explaining herself or identifying as proper Ellen or Helen?
Because my mother's given name was Ellen. Cass was her stage name. My mother's legal name was Ellen Naomi Cohen. So she's showing you her real name.
Thank you. Okay. And I do feel as though I need to acknowledge that there would be a second female that is with her. Okay, thank you. She's saying that's my baby, sis. My baby, sis. Okay, thank you. And with her, I have to say she's a part of this too. I just heard your mom reference her as Lee. Like an L-E in a connection to this other female being baby sister. Thank you. I don't feel she's in spirit quite long. I want to say possibly, and I feel I'm pushing this, with saying 2 to 3 years. I actually feel like it's a bit less. Now, why I feel she's there, you can understand that too, Ellen? I'm sorry.
Melissa, you don't even... So
you haven't read her...
We're two mamas. We're two mamas.
So when my mom Ellen Cass died in 1974, her younger sister stepped in to raise me, and her name was Leah, and Leah passed away about 4 months ago.
Oh, this is super recent. No wonder, because it's like I need the both of their energies together. But I have to be honest, I feel like Leah knows the deal. Like I'm part of that too. You know, I was part of those days. And she does actually...
Leah didn't ever want to talk about it. In fact, she would be furious. Probably as furious that we're talking about it at all.
None of this is out there in the universe. This is all personal, inside family information from Owen, which she's giving us her time to connect, and that's the beauty of this. This is where we're going to start, and she's so gracious to come and open up her heart and her souls that are in her universe. So yes, you are spot on as usual, Melissa. And I know you haven't read Owen since the passing of her aunt. That was why she couldn't do our show the last time. It was the same week.
Oh my goodness.
As
okay.
the passing.
Because it's interesting, but I did want to say I don't feel that Leah's quite open to this, but yet
No,
it's like,
not yet.
yeah.
She just got there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She just got there. Give her a minute.
Yeah, exactly.
It's in the news, though. Come on, let's do it.
It's okay.
I'm just kidding.
I know.
Ooh, okay, hang on.
Sorry, Owen.
She says, I'm from your coast. I'm an East Coast girl. And it's funny because I want to go to this farm space that very much reminds her of the old days. So I do feel like this might be a farm. I'm getting the initials MA with this as well.
Yeah. We're in Massachusetts. That's where she lived.
Okay.
And she had a farm there too.
Perfect, thank you. Because she says, I prefer that farm over the canyon any day.
Oh, yeah.
Any day.
Yeah.
I
We
understand
drove
why.
by it.
Oh my
Actually
gosh.
drove by it right after she died.
Oh, wow.
Some family members and I got in the car and took a drive and drove by the old farmhouse. It was kind of a cool thing.
Oh, that's awesome. She was with you. Absolutely with you. Okay, thank you. Now, if I'm looking into this, I know that they're giving each other strength and communicating about this. Now, if I need to look into the Laurel Canyon aspect and the Manson perspective,
Good luck.
yeah,
They're not going to want to talk about
I know.
it.
I've been doing this for 3 weeks. Okay, I need a shower.
Yeah, it's a
It's
bit
a lot.
heavy. It's a bit heavy. Okay, so what I'm also getting is that she actually, so Mama, I'm going to refer to her as Mama if that's okay. But Mama is making me very much aware that at one point earlier, and I want to even say possibly years, if not months earlier, then he became evil, is the way they're giving it. That she met him, did not like his energy immediately.
And so this is my mom talking or Leah talking?
Mom,
Okay.
yeah, did not like Manson